Hey guys, welcome to the latest installment of 6 Item Karry, brought to you by Gamers Edge and GETV. My name is Kevin, and I'm here with Lewis, and we got a lot of things happening right now in the League of Legends world.
We do have a lot of things. This weekend marks a few of the games of the Battle of the Atlantic. It's a NA versus EU.
Yeah.
Kind of, not really all-star match, but it's like the top teams are invited to have a little tournament.
It's a nice little special that we get to get nowadays. I mean, before we used to only have like LCS, IPL, and Worlds, and like the summer
MLG.
splits, MLG, which, yeah. And now we have NA versus EU. There's always been a pretty good rivalry going on between NA and EU. Which one's better? Which one has a better meta? Which teams are more in sync? Which teams fight
It's
better?
EU.
So far. But,
Always.
but some of these games are pretty shocking. And we're here to cover all the games, most of the games up until now, especially the most interesting ones specifically in the past couple days. So how about you like to start off?
Sure. Well, let's introduce the teams first. If you're unfamiliar with the teams, the first team we're going to talk about, or the first game rather, is Dignitas versus a new EU team called Alliance. Dignitas has been pretty much the same team for a few years now. One change that they did make was they sent Kiwi Kid to the support, and they picked up Cruz the Bruiser, who's been a really solid top player for a long time.
This is true. They've been Scara is always going to be the staple guy there as well, with Cutie Pie and who's the other guy? Kiwi Kid. Kiwi Kid's always been a staple player there too. They're a really good team. They've always surprised everybody with the qualifiers. They always play really great in the qualifiers, but for some reason they crumble under pressure, I believe, in major tournaments.
Well, Kiwi Kid was a recent pickup not that long ago,
That's right.
so he's not really a staple there, Kevin. Come on, step your game up. As far as the EU side goes, we have a new team called Alliance. Alliance is two former members of Evil Geniuses, Froggen and Wicked. The other players are Shook in the jungle, who we have seen before in LCS.
Right.
Tabs, who's a former mid player, feared for his fizz play.
That's right.
And then a new player called Kazmich, and according to Wikipedia, he's only a temporary sub.
Well, we'll see what they got in store. But so far, Alliance has been giving us a pretty good show. They've been wowing the crowd with their recent put together, and
you would expect a new team
to
to not do very well coming out of the gate, but they 2-0 Dignitas with style.
Yes, they did. And I believe you have.
Yeah, there's a slow recap, or not a slow recap, but a little recap of the game in store. In game one, for First Blood, Shook on Elise had a phenomenal flash into Cocoon, killing off the Kiwi Kid Karma.
Karma mid.
No, it's Karma support.
Karma support. Right?
Karma support. Kiwi Kid is a support player.
That's right. I'm sorry, I'm stuck on the Karma mid from the EU metas. I like it.
Okay.
I still want to see it.
So Dignitas takes control of the first dragon around the 7-minute mark or so, and the first major response from the Alliance team was a Nidalee play by Froggen, stealing the blue buff with the long-range spear, and it was good stuff.
Those spears come in handy in a wide variety of things, not just killing champions or poking you down. You can take anything with those spears. It's pretty cool.
Following that play, Alliance also got a double kill on their Lucian around the 8-minute mark, and from there it pretty much was all Alliance. Dignitas can mount a comeback, and it was pretty brutal.
It was tough to see that match. But game two, Alliance once again comes out on top with First Blood on Jinx, at the price of losing their jungler, of course. But
right.
They still got their First Blood.
Game two was a little closer in the early stages, but once around like the 20-minute mark came about, it was once again Alliance proved their worth, I suppose.
That's right. And what was their teams that they had? Their comps. Alliance had, I believe, Malphite.
I don't have it on hand. I gotta pull that up. Just a second. Continue talking, please, Kevin.
Well, during this series, it's been a really interesting series. You've seen a lot of different comps. A lot of champions have been coming back. Different ban picks also. There's been a lot of Mundo bans. There's been a lot of Cassin is still a ban. You know, he's been the staple ban since season 2 now. And but we start also seeing every now and then a lot of Nidalee bans. Thresh isn't banned that often anymore. I think he's not.
He's not.
He was always like the banned support along with Blitzcrank, obviously, but even Blitzcrank isn't even banned anymore. That's whatever. Thresh isn't banned anymore. Every now and then there's a LeBlanc being banned. Every now and then there's a Ziggs being banned.
Well, Ziggs has seen considerable amount of buffs, so that explains that.
That explains it. And also with the changes to Lucian has become a little bit more powerful. So
I can't find this.
It's fine.
Okay.
Lucian has become a much stronger AD champion with the recent patch, the 3.15 patch, right? Mm-hmm. And he's been getting a lot of playtime in this pro tournament now recently, which is actually kind of shocking because we all think, oh, Lucian is garbage or whatever. But
yeah. Well,
they're kind of riding him now.
Lucian is still kind of garbage. It's just that every other marksman is more garbage than he is.
That's a very hard judgment.
Yes.
That's wow.
Mm-hmm.
Quote that. Quote that.
I said it last time. I'll stick by it. Moving on.
All right, double.
The second game of the match we're going to talk, or of the day we're going to talk about is TSM versus Lemon Dogs. Now, Lemon Dogs were running the EU LCS for quite some time, and TSM dumpstered them like pretty hard.
It was actually a very interesting game to watch. I mean, I looked at their when I was watching game one, they had a really amazing wombo combo wow comp with
Lemon Dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
Malphite. We had Ziggs, we had Amumu, we had Annie support, and we had Lucian ADC. Now, pretty much, it's just you're not doing anything for the next 5-6 seconds, and Lucian is just going to sit there and go, ha ha, ha ha. But I honestly believe that in that scenario, I believe a Misfortune might have been a better pick, or even an Ashe would have been a really decent pick.
I like the Ashe pick, definitely.
But I understand with the whole Lucian, the way his abilities are, he has a lot of AoE, he has a lot of repeated damage, but with his ultimate and stuff like that, you got to take into consideration, he hits a champion, it blocks his ultimate from that one champion. It could have been like the Renekton, and the Renekton will eat it up all day, every day. Especially if it's
the plan for the Lemon Dogs were to go with the Wombo combo, but TSM picks actually made that semi-difficult. They had a pretty good, pretty slippery comp, I should say.
They had a lot of champions that had a lot of evasion, some sort of evasion moves. They had Elise Jungle with the Repel, they had a Sivir with the Spell Shield, they had LeBlanc with her W and ult copy the W. She travels half the screen away. And they had a Renekton top who can slice and dice his way out of anything. And through walls and so on and so forth.
And in addition, even Sivir, like hitting her ultimate in critical moments, allowed
the move speed. And they had a Taric in hopes to probably stop the comp along the way. And now that's actually something I wanted to talk about really badly because if you think about it, Malphite and Amumu are almost always still banned in a lot of the middle to lower elos. And if you actually think about it, they got shut down pretty hard. Even with those two like OP always banned champions, they got rocked hard. They killed Malphite at top once, took 2 towers right away. Took Dragon at 8 minutes, or 6:30 they took Dragon. And then they took Baron in like 18, at the 18-19 minute mark. Even with all that they had with the Amumu and the Malphite, they just said, fine, we'll just not get involved and just work our way around it. Like that should pretty much, if you actually watch this game and see how they time their flashes, how they time their getaway abilities, you'll actually learn it's not that hard to deal with a Malphite or a Amumu. Like there really shouldn't be.
They were very on point.
They were. Their
reaction times. Yeah.
TSM.
So what about game 2? How did that go out?
Game 2, TSM won again. A little bit more even, but still in TSM's favor. Like really badly. Another quick game. They win the first game in 22 minutes, and then they win the second game. I think it was like 25, 26, 27 minutes. TSM's a team to watch out right now, right? They just knocked out the #1 EU team, first place EU team. Watch them. They're doing
something we missed. The rosters for TSM and Lemon Dogs. TSM just had a recent roster change with the addition of Bjergsen in the mid, replacing Reginald. And how do you feel about that?
Bjergsen did a fine job as LeBlanc in that first game
against
Ziggs. He did a perfect job. Level 3, Ziggs is dead. Okay, And then his escapes perfectly timed. He did a good job. He did.
Remember in the first game there was that one escape where it was Bjergsen was face checking a brush with 3 members of Lemon Dogs inside, and he was able to somehow, by the skin of his teeth, just escape by dashing a second time, and then flashing over a wall.
If that was me, I would have probably just frozen, just shat myself, and was like, all right, whatever, I'm dead. But he was just like quick timed, like dead, like gone. I'm gone. Goodbye. What?
And it opened the door for
like a turnaround fight.
Was it an ace?
No, it was not an ace. It was a 3-for-1. Props to TSM. They did a great job in turning those fights around, and that wasn't the first time either. And for the next game, we have.
Oh, sorry.
For game 3, we have CLG versus Alternate. Now, from what I understand, CLG has a really solid team, a really solid roster, but they didn't really. It was a close game. Both games were really close, but I was not expecting Alternate to win. Like
Alternate,
that.
I think, were the more experienced team, and it showed. The CLG just picked up Dexter. I think he also came from EU. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I guess they miscommunicated or whatever it was. Their team just couldn't pull off like the big plays.
I mean, they suffered a first blood. They took the lead. CLG did take the lead early on in the game.
Yep.
But Alternate just came back. Like, that's the thing. If you watch how the game goes, they knew exactly how they should come back, how to get their lanes back, how to get their gold, how to close the gold gap, how to close the kill gap, and just took over the game just simply by knowing the mechanics and then communicating better than CLG. That's
the focus in game 1 for Alternate was definitely bottom lane, shutting down double lift.
Oh,
they pulled the level 1 cheese, which was basically hide in the brush, wait for double lift to arrive in lane, and gank the shit out of them.
By double lift. That's pretty much what it was. I mean, if you think about it, double lift is their star player. So, like, you shut him down, I think the team loses its foundation. So they gotta be a little bit more careful with protecting him.
Alternate's bottom lane just got way too out of hand with between Lucian and Leona.
Oh yeah.
And it snowballed from there, really.
Such a good comp. That's a great duo right there. Leona's just.
But game 2, CLG came out at the gate looking real hot. They took first blood. They took the first 2 dragons, I think, of that game. But ultimately, the inexperience of the new team or the new member proved to be too much, and Alternate took control.
That's right. And I think that new member came in too quickly into the game, into the team, so close to the tournament. I mean, there was no announcement, really, like, ahead of time to us about the tournaments, but I'm pretty sure they got a big heads up. But they got that player pretty quick. I don't think the sync was fully there as well. They need some time together. But don't expect to count out CLG yet. They're always full of surprises. They always got some kind of that's his team. They always got some kind of surprises, some kind of comps, some kind of mechanics or plays that they do end up coming out on top every now and then. But they don't always make it to the end. They don't always make it.
Always coming up short.
They're always in the second, third. But you know, it looks like it might happen again. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It looks like it might happen again. What about match 4?
Match 4 was XDGG, aka Vulcan, aka whatever else, a bunch of names they always have, against Gambit, and Gambit just like swept them. It was like no contest.
Gambit is a great team. Gambit has always been a great team.
They've always been very innovative.
They've always been very innovative, but they seem like one of those upper middle teams that shut down higher teams, but sometimes don't always bring it to the table, but sometimes always still come on top. They're a back and forth team, but they're really solid on their comps, on their play styles, and the mechanics, the whole team themselves.
We're definitely going to have to take a look at them and pay attention during Season 4.
Right. And then we have another game coming up, Match 5. We have Cloud9 versus Fnatic. I'm itching for this game.
Yeah, it should be a very exciting game.
Itching for this game.
I definitely think Fnatic will come out on top ultimately, but not without a fight from Cloud9.
Cloud9 has proven other people wrong. They've been the underdogs in a lot of matches recently, or not recently, but previously, especially when they first came into the pro scene. They were always the underdogs, and they always came out on top as a great team, great comps, great play styles. look out for them, but I also think Fnatic has the.
Hopefully,
is gonna
this series
take it.
as well will be the first 2-1 series, not the 2-0 sweep.
Yeah, that's all it's been so far. It's just been a 2-0 sweep. But again, the teams to look out for. Definitely watch out for Alliance. Definitely check out the Alliance games. They have some interesting plays. Remember, like I said, it's a new team. They have new players, well, old players, but with new players and new mechanics. They have a new thing. Keep an eye out for them. They might give you some nice little updates. Keep an eye out on TSM. They're coming out on top right now, pretty well with how they handled that game. Keep an eye out for Alternate. Don't count CLG out, and keep an eye out for Fnatic and C9. They're gonna be. Those two teams are the teams that also I want to watch out for. What do you think?
Sounds about good.
Sounds about right. Yeah, and that's pretty much our highlight reel for the latest Battle of the Atlantic games. Check us out next week where we wrap everything up and give you guys a full breakdown of the mechanics, give you guys a full breakdown of the comps, and pretty much talk about exactly what happened for the rest of the tournament if you haven't catched them. Once again, my name is Kevin. This is Lewis. This is 6 Item Karry. If you're into Magic the Gathering, check out our friends at On The Stack. They cover everything Magic. Tony and Vic take care of that. They're really good guys. They know what they're doing there. Like I said, this is 6 Item Karry brought to you by Gamers Edge and GETV. Take care.